Hi, it's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to Career Coach Office Hours on Tuesday, May 31st, 2022. I spend time on Tuesdays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, taking questions or responding to questions from job hunters, people who have concerns about their job search, hiring more effectively, management, leadership, and a whole host of other things that relate to being effective in the workplace. And if you've got a question for me, you can put it into chat and I'll respond to it today. Or what you can also do is you can send it to me in advance through LinkedIn. My page there is linkedin.com/in/, the big game hunter. And I'll get to it with the next show. So just to be clear, you can put your questions into chat today and I'll get to it. Or you can message me through LinkedIn for a subsequent show, and I'd be happy to get to your questions. I'll also mention that, if well, there's a lot of great information on my website, thebiggamehunter.us. And if you go to the site, you can visit the blog, and there's more than 12,000 searchable posts there. You can find out about my courses, books, and guides, the courses you can rent or buy from me. You can schedule time for a free discovery call or schedule time for coaching. I'd love to help. Also, my YouTube channel at jobsearchtv.com, that takes you directly to my channel on YouTube, or you can watch it on the Job Search TV app on Amazon. There's lots of great information you can watch however you prefer. Also, my podcast, No BS Job Search Advice Radio, is #1 in Apple Podcasts for job search with more than 2,300. Next week, it's going to hit episode 2,400 of podcast episodes that you can listen to. I release them on Monday through Friday. Friday tends to be a long form interview, although I'm not doing one this week. I'll return to that schedule next week. But again, jobsearchtv.com is the YouTube channel and Amazon channel, and No BS Job Search Advice Radio is the podcast. Now, I'd like to start these shows off with a coffee toast. And today's toast is for those of you who give of yourself to help others. That could be in coaching, that could be in social work, it could be as a doctor, nurse, whatever profession you're in. If you give of yourself to help others, if you do that a small part of your day, you will feel great. And I want to acknowledge you for that effort where you lift your head up and you make others matter more to you than you to yourself. So an acknowledgement to those of you who coach and who help. Cool. Now, it was Memorial Day in the United States yesterday. I expected to arrive to fewer questions. I didn't. I received a very full deck of questions, and I'm going to start working on them now. And again, I'm happy to answer yours. I do have a hard break for a 2 o'clock session, but no matter, I want to help. It's really what it comes down to. So if you've got a question, put it into chat. I'd be very happy to answer it. So the first question for today is, I interviewed for a job 3 days ago and haven't heard back. Is there a way to inquire about it without being seen as impatient or, of course, I'm adding this word onto it, desperate? Well, what you can always do in the interview is ask when you might be expecting to hear back from someone. I expect you'll hear early part of next week. So if I haven't heard by Thursday or Friday, is it okay if I follow up? What that does is gives you permission to follow up. That allows you to get their buy-in on doing it. Doesn't mean that they'll necessarily have a decision, but that's one way of doing it. Here, you interviewed for a job 3 days ago and haven't heard back yet. And thus, you can do much the same thing, except I was in to meet with you on last Thursday. It's Tuesday at this point, haven't heard back. Do you have plans to bring me back for further interviews? You can do that. Or you can simply ask what the status is of, uh, based upon the interview. But that doesn't make you impatient. That makes you curious. And the fact that you chose the word impatient, that's about you. It's not on them. They may not see, if you did it that afternoon, that's impatient. Hi, at 1 o'clock, it's 4:30. What do you plan on doing? That's impatient. But making an inquiry like this, that's not impatient at all. Okay. Here's an employer question. How can we use our digital presence to attract job seekers? Well, there's lots of different ways. And one way is through LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn recruiter account, you can post a job and have employees share that job to their connections. And that enhances your visibility. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is on different platforms. You may want to do a short interview show where you interview a hiring manager. So let's say you work in HR and you use a service like I use, which is called StreamYard. And you set up a multi-person interview where you meet with a hiring manager, someone on the team, maybe their boss, and you're the HR individual. Let's say you just, as an HR person, meet the hiring manager and someone on the team and interview them about what it's like to work there. That's different than what most firms do. And that hiring manager can talk about what they're looking for, how they're going to evaluate and assess people, and can simply say, I think it's great working here, but let me have you talk to someone who works on the team. And as long as they don't sound like they're a stiff, oh, it is wonderful to work here. I really think this group is wonderful. Everyone is one. As long as you don't sound like a jerk, what this does is really enhance your presence. Remember, do not just go for one homogeneous presentation. So, you want to demonstrate that you're a diverse organization. You want to demonstrate that you're thoughtful, that you care, that you manage, that people will matter to them. And this all cuts the line and moves you to the front. This can appear on YouTube, on LinkedIn as an event. It can appear on Facebook. There's lots of different ways that you as an organization can use a digital presence to attract job hunters. It's not instantaneous. It has to be part of a regular campaign so that people get to know you, like you, trust you. And if you're the HR person, you can talk about the organization, whereas the manager and the staffer talk about the group. So you can talk about benefits, promotional opportunity, what it's like to work there within the organization, tuition reimbursement, lots of different things that you can address that starts to create a footprint that it starts attracting people to your firm. You can point them to the website to apply. Again, lots of different things that you can do. So a short interview show will go a long way toward making you stand out positively, as long as you guys don't come across as jerks. Okay? How do I ask about interview information preparation? Okay. Well, you just did. So, preparing for an interview. I've got a great course called the Ultimate Job Interview Framework. It's available through my website, thebiggamehunter.us. There's a drop down for courses. You can order it. If you buy it, I think it's $25. It's probably $15 if you rent it for 30 days. Take the course. It will help you a lot. It will get you ready. So Even if you watch the course, it's important that you practice. Practice is the differentiator for most people that allows them to stand out from average Jane or Joe who just goes in and kind of wings it. So, you know, do the work, do the homework that allows you to look good in front of others. Rehearse, practice, prepare. There's lots that you can do to get yourself ready. I'll also remind you, if you've got a question for me, put it into chat. I'd be very happy to answer it for you. Okay. What is the hardest part of working in the staffing industry? I did that for a long time. I worked in recruiting for, well, it felt like 100 years, but in point of fact, it was more than 40. Filled a lot of positions, a lot of consulting assignments, and did it successfully before transitioning to coaching. And in doing so, what was the hardest part? Well, I'm going to do this in an obnoxious way, but everyone's lying to you. Job hunters are exaggerating their capabilities. Your institutional customers are, shall we say, presenting the opportunity in a favorable light, and they accuse you of lying, and you're just the messenger of their lies to you that you've received. So, what's the hardest part? It's a sales job where everyone is trying to lie to you, to con you, to persuade you. And if you don't sell, you don't earn a living. That's the life of a contingency recruiter. In the life of a executive search professional, well, it's always about doing it right, which you want to do in contingency as well, but there's a different dynamic, different clientele where you're not really dealing with liars like you are in the contingency world, at least not that often. But what you're trying to do is evaluate, assess, refer, work with an internal team to prepare people for interviews. There's a lot of minutia in the executive search world, so it's different. Again, in contingency, everyone's posturing for your attention, and I would say that's really the hardest part of it. Is it okay for my manager to hire someone outside the company while employees apply for the same position? It's, of course, qualified employees are applying for the same position. Well, I'm sorry I haven't been putting that up on the screen. It depends on your firm's practices. So, they have to fill the job. And if the internal people are not qualified, then the long and the short of it is they've got to get it done. So that they're interviewing while people are applying makes perfect sense to me. And what you need to do on your side is get your foot in the door and impress the heck out of them. No positive impression, it's all BS. You're talking about rules. They're trying to get something done, and they don't have someone on staff that can do it. Prove that you're that person. If you can't do it, what are you, like a kid who says, I want it? Sorry, you can't have it. But I want it. And you're throwing a tantrum. Yes, they can hire someone outside the firm while qualified employees are applying for the same position. They need to get something done. They arrive too late. What are they supposed to do? Defer until they're now late on the project because they haven't hired anyone? I know you don't believe that. Okay. What are recruiters thinking and looking for when a job candidate, I hate the word candidate, when a person reaches out to them on LinkedIn? So I know I was member 7653 on LinkedIn. Without a lot of effort, I've had 27,000 people connect with me. Plus, now I have followers from my LinkedIn Creator Mode account. So when someone's reaching out on LinkedIn, The first question is this about a job I was recruiting for? Because again, I don't do recruiting anymore. Were they reaching out to me about a job, or were they reaching out to connect? Why are they trying to connect with me? So if I accept the connection request, I'll message back. There's a service I use called Drift where I can send a video to them. And I'll ask, hey, thanks for reaching out to connect. I'm curious what prompted you to do so. Were you recommended by LinkedIn? Had you seen some of my content? I'm just curious. Message me back. And what can I be doing to help you? Very simple video, takes less than 30 seconds. I put it into messaging on LinkedIn. It is stunning to me how few people respond back to explain why they reached out to connect. So what do I think? I think I was recommended by LinkedIn. People are trying to take advantage of my network. They want to expand theirs. And I get it, because in the LinkedIn scheme of things, people want to have as large a network as possible. So they go to people with large networks who they can piggyback on to reach out to even more people. Oh, I loved this one. So bear with me. I'm going to answer this. And how can I politely fire someone? My employee is no longer reliable and always has excuses to not come in or just doesn't reply. I've never had to fire someone, so how can I do it without being mean? So this is obviously not an experienced manager. Not because they haven't fired anyone before, but they're concerned about being mean and not thinking about the impact that this individual has on how they appear, how they're getting results, how this person is affecting the other people in the group. Because if you did, you wouldn't be concerned about looking mean. What you do is call a meeting with HR, sit down and say, I had so many instances of this person not showing up for work and not calling. I've warned them that failure to call in, ghosting me on a given day and not showing up is grounds for termination. Did I not warn you of that? And now watch the person lie and go, oh, no, I didn't really do that. And then you nod and go, okay, I'd like to do that now. So we're going to put you on a performance improvement plan where we have an expectation that this is what you're going to do if you take a day off. This is what you're going to do in the context of your work. You lay out very specific, measurable outcomes that you want. And then from there, have HR draft this, have the person sign it so they understand or they commit to understanding. And then after 30 days, you do a review as to how the person's performance has been. Failure to live up to the performance improvement plan will result in their termination. And again, you may not be able to do it that day, but you will be able to do it because bad behavior doesn't change that quickly. So I'm just going to remind you, if you've got a question about job search, hiring, management, leadership, or want advice about a particular workplace issue, put that question into chat or describe that situation and put it into chat, and I'd be happy to get back to you. Also, go to thebiggamehunter.us to schedule time for a free discovery call, a coaching session, to visit my blog, which has more than 12,000 searchable posts, and to find about my courses, which you can rent or buy, my books and guides. There's a lot there that will help you. Also, subscribe to JobSearchTV.com on YouTube. Download the app by the same name on Amazon. And subscribe to No BS Job Search Advice Radio in Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, where it's a video podcast, Amazon Music, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts. There's just a lot there that I release regularly to help you. So let's go on to the next question. Sorry, got to come back here for a second. Is it illegal to lie to potential employers about salary offers from other companies? Ooh. No, it's not illegal. There's no law that prohibits you from doing that. But understand firms call the bluff. So you say you have another offer. The first question you have to be prepared for is, so why don't you just take it? Uh, and the correct answer is, I'm really interested in your opportunity. "Oh, why is that?" Now you have to tell them why you're interested in their job. And then they may respond by saying, we're engaged in a process here where we're evaluating and assessing people to see who's the best person for us. So we're not ready to make a decision yet. We have another three people to talk to, and then we may bring you back again. You have to make a choice as to whether you still want to be in consideration. A lot of people can't pull that off. So be aware that that's a pretty natural sequence of conversation, and um, you don't want to lose an opportunity because of your impatience. So remember, you know, when all is said and done, you want to be getting the right job for you, and in doing so, all the way along the line, you have to make them fall in love. No love, no offer. Really that simple. So, next question is, one of your best customers verbally abuses your employees every time she visits your store. Your employees have complained to you several times about this customer. What should you do? There's an old story about the former president of Southwest Airlines. Southwest, takes a no frills approach to flights. There are no reserved seats, no meals are served. You are pointed to where to sit. That's where you sit. And the story goes that there was a woman who wrote a letter of complaint, and it got escalated up the line to Herb. Now, Herb was a founder, he's the president of the airline, and this woman complained about no meals, the wrong seating. I forget what the other two things were, but those two stick out in my mind. And he wrote back to her and said, "We'll miss you. Do you want to lose your people because a customer, no matter how good they are, drives them out the door? Do your people matter more to you than the customer? If so, you have to show them that by having a conversation with the customer and, if necessary, banning them from the store because of abusive behavior." So I think there's a wonderful lesson that people sometimes need to learn, that what excrement they have does stink, and that people have self respect and they have a desire for dignity and deserve it just by being people. So send them away. Basically say, if you're going to keep behaving like this, I don't want you in the store. My people have been complaining. I've been talking to you privately, and you treat me like I'm not here. So until you can behave properly with my staff, don't come back. And that becomes something that you do. But do it in a way where you also tell the team afterwards that this is what you've done so that they know that you have their back. It's awful that a person conducts themselves in such a manner, but they do. And your people don't have to sit still for it. They can go to work somewhere else, right? So don't put up with this crap. Have a frank and open conversation with this person that lets them know you're not going to put up with it. Okay. So someone wrote to me about a recruiter who tells candidates to ask the interviewer, "How do I know the company is going to be here in 6 months amid the tech downturn and get ahead of future layoffs?" And this person wants to know, is it a good idea? Well, if you're interviewing at a large, major corporation, I think you stand a pretty good shot of that firm being there. and there's no guarantee. And the person that you're interviewing with has no knowledge about what the financial circumstances of the firm are. So you're asking them to lie to you. Never a good thing to do. If it's a startup, you're also asking them to lie to you. Let's say this person you're talking to is a founder. Are you insulting them by asking this question? Probably not. But amid a tech downturn, for those of you not aware, 2 weeks ago, tech laid off 7,000 people. And that's a lot for Silicon Valley. So when that kind of stuff happens, people start getting nervous, and the result winds up being that, people start heading for the hills. So I'll just say to you, never put people in the position where they feel compelled to lie. So I would never ask this question. I would ask how the firm is doing professionally, how important this project is to the firm. They'll always say it's very important, and a bunch of other stuff. But remember, you may not be hearing the truth because the person that you're talking with doesn't know. Why do managers want you to look busy? Oh, awful. I hate questions like this. Managers want you to look busy because they want to believe that you are still working, that you're not goofing off, that you're taking time to put in an effort every minute of every day you are in their employ. So they want you to look busy in order to feel like you are working. Stupid, isn't it? Are you more likely to get hired if the recruiter approaches you first? Um, I'll just say that from the standpoint of what affects a recruiter, they want to believe that you're not actively looking for work. It's called the passive job applicant. They want to hire people who are doing a great job where they are. They want to feel like they recruited you, and thus you're happy where you are and not actively looking for work. Why does that matter to them? Well, they think that the passive applicant, I hate the words applicant or candidate, but I'm just going to use them here. The person who's not actively looking, for them is more desirable because they believe that they're generally loyal, capable, and well regarded at their current firm. So it's not that you're more likely to get hired, because you still have to be qualified and you're going to be evaluated for your qualifications. But what they are going to be able to do is to figure out whether you're capable, and you'll be advantaged because they're going to not have to worry about competition from other firms, counter offers, things like that. So, no, you're not more likely to get hired. You're certainly more likely to get interviewed. And that's really as far as it goes. So I hope you found this helpful. I'm Jeff Altman. Visit my website, thebiggamehunter.us. Sorry. There's a lot there in the blog to help you. You can also schedule time for a free discovery call, schedule time for coaching, find out about my courses, books, and guides. Again, a lot on the site to help you. Also, subscribe to JobSearchTV.com on YouTube, download the app on Amazon, and subscribe to No BS Job Search Advice Radio wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, if you're not already connected with me, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. I hope you have a terrific day, and most importantly, be great. Take care.